So this video is going to be absolutely hilarious when it comes to my review, because as many of you may know, I have a unique skill when it comes to pronunciations of names. And I've had many comments tell me that they love watching my content because they love hearing me butcher names. Yes, I have partial dyslexia. I am atrociously bad at saying names. If you don't like that, you're in for a rough ride when it comes to my content, and particularly this video, because there are a bunch of girls. Now, I'm probably going to give them all nicknames. Bluey, purple, not purple, sorry, Bluey, Pinky, Greeny, Brownie, Blondie. Because they're all got different hair colors, so thank you, author, for making this easier for me. But I'll try and butcher the names just because I love triggering some of you out there. But I will say, this is one of those animes that, here's the thing, you have to talk about the elephant in the room. And I know there are going to be many content creators that will probably use the series for titles, but they will barely bring it up other than noting that, yes, this particular series is done by the same author as Rent-a-Girlfriend. But I also want to talk about Rent-a-Girlfriend a little bit in this, because I think there's some interesting things to kind of note on this. This is, again, the next work of the author from Rent-a-Girlfriend, and I do believe that the hopes is that this series will pop off so that the Rent-a-Girlfriend author can kind of maybe like finally conclude that series, because that series has been dragging on indefinitely way too, like, it's just it will outlive One Piece at this point of how much it's dragged out. Because the fact is the author's trying to milk that cash cow. And I feel like if this anime does well, it will boost the mangas enough that maybe the author might put more effort into this and maybe finally start to wrap up that story. Again, I wanted to note on that. But I do feel like this is like Rent-a-Girlfriend 2.0, or Rent-a-Girlfriend the better version. Because one of the things that I right away like about the main male protagonist, or as I will name him, Arata. Maybe I actually got that right. It seemed like a simple name. But yeah, Mr. Family Inheritant Stud Muffin guy that now suddenly has a bunch of girls into him. It's one of those where, like, he's not so weird and creepy. That's one of the things I didn't like about the Rent-a-Girlfriend main protagonist, was that he was really weird and creepy. But with this version of what the writer's written, it's not so much that's the case. So I actually really like this kind of like change in the author's kind of direction. Again, it's worth noting because this is the same work from him. One thing I noticed about the girls, though, is they all are very distinct in their personality traits. And it does obviously show that the author is very much emphasizing on their character traits. Like, really exaggerate, like really throwing them in your face. Like, this one is very athletic and very boisterous and all that kind of stuff, and this one is also athletic but really popular and super, like, does swimming and running and athletics. Like, there's two athletic ones, but one's more tomboyish and one's more the pretty popular girl, and then you've got like the really quiet one, like really quiet, nerdy, yeah. And then you've got the science one, and then you've got the oldest one, which is the ones that they really want to emphasize, that her milker-lugs can bounce around, her jugger-lugs have its own gravitational pull. The ending of it was just basically, hey, look at this. This thing has its own gravitational pull as it's yanking the Earth up and down because of how massive they are, and the fact that the jiggle physics is just defying all forms of common sense. But hey, I ain't complaining. I like them. I like boobs. Espiritu, 2025. So, I actually kind of liked her probably the most, actually. Mainly because she was also the more mature one. And that's the thing. They kind of like really emphasize that she's the busty, mature one. So each character is very distinct in their trait, and every single one of them has a different hair color, which makes it really easy if I want to be a lazy douchebag and just name them based on their hair colors. But I'm going to deliberately butcher their names because I like triggering people. I like the story itself. I like the concept of it. I like where it's trying to go. Again, this is not technically an incest story, even though certain accounts on X will tell you that apparently it is, even though it isn't, but it is. Again, I do feel like parts of the anime community do not know what that word means. Again, they need to be blood related for it to be that. If they're not blood related, they are not that. Again, clear definition and wording. I'm just pointing that out because I know I'm going to get someone in the comments going, this is absolute. No, you're stupid. Be quiet, okay? Let the adults talk. One thing I noticed, other than the fact that they really emphasize the character traits and they really want to, like, almost exaggerate a little bit, they really go deep on the romance aspects before they even break the ice of, oh, by the way, none of you are blood related, except you two over there. You two are still twins, so you're fine. Which is the other boy, which is Shion, I think is how you say his name, and the greenie, Minami? Yep, we're gonna go with that. Those two are still twins, but the rest are all non-related. And so it's interesting because clearly the father was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick you as the inheritor, and all the rest are just kind of like there. Now, the funny thing is there's 2 guys, 5 girls. Yeah, clearly this is going to turn probably into a harem, but it's one of those where it's like one of those girls is also going to inherit the family legacy as well, because clearly he's going to hook up with one of them and they're going to inherit the family legacy together. So there's that. But as I was stating, they really emphasize the romance aspect beforehand, like the whole, oh, you know, don't wear too light of clothes, or one of the sisters, which is the youngest one, actually admitted to having a crush to the main male love protagonist. It's like one of those where it's like it's really trying to set up this whole idea of, oh, there's a little bit of shenanigans going on, but because they're blood related, nothing's gonna happen. Okay, nothing's going to happen because they're blood related. Okay, let's just re-emphasize that over and over and over again for 10 whole minutes in the episode, because they're blood related. Oh, by the way, they're not blood related. Oh, gloves are off. Now they're all gonna hook up. It really wanted to push that whole narrative that nothing's gonna happen because they're blood related. And it's like, okay, we get it. We really get, like, they kind of, this is the one thing I noticed with the first episode, is that they really over-exaggerate certain key aspects to really try and drum it into you. Like, they really want you to know that each girl has their own unique quirk. Each girl has their own thing going on, and oh, but they're blood related, so they can't be together, even though there's some weird shenanigans going on. And then it's like, psych, none of you blood related, now suddenly things get weird. It just, as much as it's exaggerated, it is still fun. Again, I'm just being honest here. Yes, they're really emphasizing on those things, but it's still fun. The cliches, the character tropes, it's all there, but it's still fun. It's good, mindless fun. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the future episodes, just to kind of see how this is all going to play out, just because seeing the quiet one actually kind of become a little bit more like, you know, especially at the end of the first episode, there's clearly going to be, right away, some progress in the story. Hopefully, it doesn't have one of those situations where they make heaps of progress within the first 2-3 seasons worth of material and then suddenly drag on the next 8 seasons of no progress. Fun jab at Rent-A-Girlfriend. I like what the story is trying to do. I do find it interesting that they made a very interesting imbalance in the female to male ratio. It works for the story because it will be an easy self-insert for anyone else. And I do feel like Shion, or the other brother, is more there as a supporting character for the main male protagonist. Like, he is like the main character, while the brother, or the non-blood brother, I'm still going to call him brother, is kind of just there to help support him. I do wonder if there'll be potential romance for him out of one of those girls. Maybe one of those girls might like him. I doubt it. I have a sneaking suspicion all 5 of those girls are going to want to be with him, and that's kind of the whole premise of it, that they're all going to kind of like fight over him or kind of want his affection, and the brother there's just going to be kind of like the mediator and the watcher of it all and the kind of comic relief. At least there's one other male in there. I would have probably been way more like, I don't know, I probably would have been a little bit disappointed if it was just like 1 male, 5 females, this is the family. It'd be like, okay, this is just weird. Like, clearly Daddy Roo set this little boy up for a bit of a harem himself, but at least there's like 2 brothers. I'm surprised it didn't kind of go like 3-to-4 ratio, like 3 guys, 4 girls, or at least try and even it out to be like 3 or 3, and maybe slowly work it out that each of the girls kind of maybe pick one of the guys. Like, that could have been an interesting kind of twist where some of them maybe date one of the others but then end up breaking up and end up going out. That would have made a hell of a drama. But I do feel like the author wanted to go with the very simple 5 girls, 1 guy, 1 male support, boom, this is a harem kind of basic setup, which again, nothing wrong with that kind of concept. I'm just curious to see where this goes, and it does have the comedy sort of tags on this series. So again, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have you read the manga? What are your thoughts about the manga? I don't want spoilers, but I simply just want opinions on what you think of the story and if it's good or bad, and especially for those that have clearly probably, if you've read this, you've probably read Rent-a-Girlfriend. Because to me, I'm someone that has read Rent-a-Girlfriend, and I definitely have a lot of criticisms for that series, but already from this series, there's some interesting premises that the writer's trying to do, even though, to be honest, I kind of liked Rent-a-Girlfriend at the start, and it kind of fell apart. So maybe the writer will do another bait and switch here. But I also, and this may trigger people, I really like the fact that the main male protagonist in this story is not a self-insert for the writer. And I know that might trigger some people, but I'm just being honest. I do not like the fact that the main male protagonist in Rent-a-Girlfriend is a self-insert. I know I'm doing a lot of comparisons, but because of the author, there's some interesting kind of parallels when it comes to character tropes and character, like, especially the outfits. Like, if you can't notice that the author is really good at designing character outfits for characters, that is something that is in this, especially the oldest girl. You can clearly tell the author's, like, hand-picked her outfit. Like, oh, like, straight up, like, the little finer details of that more mature, seductive, attractive kind of look, while the others are more school, innocent kind of vibe going for them. And I mean, he is also in school, while she is going for her nursing and is a bit more older and is older and more mature. So I do kind of like the fact that there is a bit of a different age gap, not just all in the same age gap as well, because it kind of would have made it a little bit boring. Having an older female character really adds a bit more spice because she's more mature. She's got more of the assets there. So there could be some interesting, maybe like she might try and like use that to her advantage to be like, hey, I'm gonna win you over. Might I add though, there won't be any controversy over that, but I would just say if the roles were reversed where the guy was older and the chick was younger, and this kind of, well, to be honest, actually, being that the youngest girl, which is Kotono, yeah, I do feel like there might be some drama if there's a bit of a romance between them because she is the youngest. So again, there's a lot of interesting premises of where this story is going to go, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to it just because of the style. The fact that it's like, oh, they were, but they're not, and now there's a bit of a drama. Like, it's going to be a drama of, like, them admitting to their feelings. I'm just noting on the fact that clearly the author has gone down very specific designs of where the story wants to go, and just kind of looking at those parallels from other projects, it's just fun to kind of look at. So, again, I know that might trigger people because some people will be like, oh, you should compare. But I just think it's kind of fun. That's all. So again, love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.